Hey y'all, welcome back to Movement Link. So today I want to spend a little bit of time just talking about warming up for Olympic weightlifting and how we can take your warm-ups and just amplify and multiply the benefits you get from it. So most people are just warming up in a way that kind of generally gets their bodies moving and just generally gets them hot and sweaty and ready to start lifting. But if you kind of think about your warm-ups from the very first moment of trying to layer in a few additional pieces, and we can focus on making your warm-ups translate into improving your Olympic lifts and everything else we're doing, you get so much more out of your time. So how I kind of like to think about this is I start by just trying to hit end range positions. So I might just start in a squat and I might start just doing everything wrong on purpose. So not only in my warm up am I going to try and hit end range positions of my shoulders back in that extension, with my hips, with my ankles, everything. And it looks kind of like all of our kind of just move, follow along videos that we have, just kind of doing general yoga stuff. So not only is it that, but I'm also trying to look at the specific requirements of Olympic weightlifting. So that's why I like to spend some time on the bottom of a squat, doing everything wrong, and then returning back into good positions. Because if I catch a snatch, there's a chance that not everything's going to be absolutely perfect. And I need to, one, have this not be the first time ever that I've been in this position, but I also need the ability to recenter and find the really, really good position. So as we're doing this general stuff, like let's just take a classic kind of quad stretch here for a second. I'm not just kind of going through the motions. I'm squeezing my butt cheek. I'm getting my shoulder back in its socket. So I'm working posture in these positions. I might add in kind of hip hinging and balancing, but really we just want to think of layering technique. And we want to apply technique even to these exercises where, okay, I get down here, my goal is to work on extension, but in the snatch, clean, and jerk, my extension moments are here with the glutes flexed hard and the belly button drawn in. So when I'm hitting these just general warm-up positions, glute is flexed, belly button's drawn in as I'm kind of going around. This position looks just like a push-up. So like we talk about on this channel all the time, everything is just a combination of variation of a squat, a push-up, and a jump. And we want to take that mentality from the very first, even when we're doing just general stuff. We can focus on how's my foot pressure? Am I screwing my feet into the floor? Is my belly button drawn in away from my waistband the whole time? Are my shoulders engaged? Is my head getting jammed weird? We can do this in every single position, and it goes to improve your technique astronomically. So that's phase one, is get more out of your general warm-up. Next phase, so let's start looking more specifically at what's required in the lifts. And so what I talked about is I love getting into bad positions and then correcting them into better positions. Something that I've heard Rich Froning do is he does 100 air squats as a warm-up before every workout, which is crazy to most people, but it's no surprise that Rich Froning was one of the best ever, and his technique is just head over heels, head over shoulders. Oh, there's a dumb one. Someone look that up for me and post it in the comments and help me out there. But there's no surprise that he's just that much better than everyone else because his technique was that much better than everybody else. But how does it get there? He puts a lot of intent and focus into the technique. Okay, so by doing 100 air squats, he's not just ripping them out, trying to see how fast he can go. He's layering in technique. How's foot pressure? Okay, am I screwing my feet into the floor? Is my belly button nice and engaged? How are my shoulders? How's my head? Then what we can do, and you don't have to do 100, but 100 is a really great way to start here. But any kind of number here, but we can also challenge the position. So we can lean over, and I like leaning over, and then I'm going to drop, and then try and find center and stand back up. I can lean to the other side, I can lean forward, drop, try and find center. Make any corrections, but really, as we morph in from the general warm-up into more specific warm-up, we can use this technique layering to have just hyper focus. So I'm not only squatting, so I'm warming up for the positions I'm gonna need, but I'm warming up the skill of, oh, if I'm slightly on my toes, how do I center out? Oh, if I'm slightly on the left side, how do I center out? We can also do push-ups and just really pay attention there. Okay, so from there, now we're gonna wanna put together a barbell warm-up and put together something that makes sense for you. So I'll give you a few barbell exercises that we can look at, but what we want you to do is, as we're going through these exercises, I want you focusing on one thing per rep, and if you've just got that dialed in, we're just gonna go to a new thing. So what are we gonna be focusing on? It's always the basics. It's foot pressure. It's creating that torque either into the bar, creating stability through the shoulder using the lats. Maybe it's a wrist position. Maybe we're screwing our feet on the floor, staying balanced, belly button drawn in. Maybe it's your chest is high. Maybe it's where your head is. We don't want your head sticking through. It's a mistake I tend to make. Just make it a little more neutral. So it doesn't matter, but it's usually basics. And once we hammer in and dial in the basics, then we can really work on the timing and everything else of it. But if the basics are in place and we're engaging the lats, a lot of these issues with the bar coming forward and a lot of the issues we see in Olympic weightlifting tend to go away when the basics and the foundations are really, really good. Something else people do is they like to get hot and sweaty before they start lifting. But again, if you hop on an exercise bike, it is a great way to get hot and sweaty. If you go for an 800-meter run, great way to get hot and sweaty. But do you know what another great way to get hot and sweaty is? Grab a barbell, do 3 to 5 reps of all the things I'm about to explain here, and now we can add in your cardio, get hot and sweaty part of the warm-up as technique work. So again, we're just trying to use your time as efficiently as possible. So we're gonna start with just kind of a progression for cleans. So first of all, I always like to make sure my grip is set the right way. So using the hook grip, wrapping around that thumb, getting the flexed wrist, making sure the shoulders are back. I like to start with stiff-legged deadlifts. As we go through these things, I like to do like 3 to 5 reps. I don't know how many I'll end up doing on this video, but 3 to 5 reps is usually pretty good. So after stiff-legged deadlifts, just to kind of warm up that deep hip hinge, what I like to do is distinguish that from how we're actually going to start the clean. So I like to work on the first pull. I like doing everything from the top down. So I'm going to go into the jumping position, and I can always check in on the foundations. Are my feet flat on the floor? Am I screwing my feet in, belly button drawn in, yada, yada, yada. And the first pull is just going to be here from my jumping position, and I'm going to squat to mid-shin. So to me, it feels like a leg press. So I'm pressing my legs into the ground and just trying to maintain that position. Then I like to move into the second pull. And the second pull is basically a hang clean pull. So from the hang, drive the bar up. All I'm trying to do is use my jumping pattern to put power on that bar, keep it close to me. Now I like to mix those two. So first and second pull, just making a clean pull. So mid-shin, leg press, drive up. Mid-shin, leg press, drive up. And I'll do a few clean pulls, maybe some slow motion working up the speed. Then I like hang power cleans. So from the hang, drive it up, pull under. Okay, after a few of those, since the barbell's up here, I like to go ahead, warm up the shoulders a little bit, and I'll press overhead a few times. Then do some front squats. Mix in the front squats with thrusters. Really work on that hip explosion. Then move these into jerks. Maybe pausing on the catch. I notice I like jam my head through, so for me, maybe focus on relaxing my head as I go through. Then I like to end it with some sock presses. If it's for clean and jerk, I like to go from the front rack here, pressing up, and then just seeing how low I can squat perfectly. That one shut me up. Ooh, that was nasty. So what I would do, I like to end it with 5. I just did 3 because I wasn't gonna be able to talk. But I like to end it with 5 sock presses. And where I got to right there was that was, for me right now in this moment, that was my threshold. So I would work at that threshold. My goal is not to go too low where it just gets real nasty. That threshold of where it's really good to stuff starts to break down, I want to work right there, try and make it better, better, better. But as I go through these things, that's kind of my general routine of stiff-legged deadlifts to really challenge the full range of that hip hinge. Then it's first pull, second pull, first and second pull. Then it's second and third pull in the power clean, or the hang power clean. And then I like to focus on, okay, let's start warming up overhead. So some presses, sometimes I'll come back down to the back of the neck and just goof around and use it as a resting position. Some front squats, some thrusters, throw some jerks in there. I usually don't do specific split jerks until later, but you can throw them in there if you want. I like to end it with SOTS press. This is extremely challenging, can really build that mobility and stability over time. And what I like to do is through it, I focus on something foundational. If it's foot pressure, are my butt cheeks squeezed? Is my belly button drawn in? Am I creating the right torque in the shoulder? Remember, it's internal on the pull. It's gonna be external as we catch or as we go overhead in the jerk. So I'm looking at something foundational as I go through the exercises. Once I'm happy and think my foundations are solid, then it's the technique stuff. If my shoulders are engaged, am I keeping the bar close? How fast am I pressing with my arms to press myself down? What does my squat position look like? But on every rep, I'm thinking about something to check in on. And over time, having that many intentional reps every single time I come to the gym gets amplified a ton. Okay, so for the snatch, same thing. What you're gonna notice is it's basically the exact same warm-up we did for the clean and jerk here. So I'm gonna make sure I've got the right grip. It's in the hip crease. I'm gonna make sure my wrists are flexed a little bit. I got the hook grip going. I'm gonna start with stiff-legged deadlifts. Again, 3 to 5 reps is usually good. I'm just gonna do a couple as demo here. I go to the first pull. I just start from the jumping position, leg press my way down, jumping position, leg press my way down, jumping pull. Then I like to go into the second pull. For the snatch, I really like to work from the hip, because if I can make it feel powerful from the hip, then when I come out of the hip, I'll know if I miss that position or not. So from the hip, I do second pull. So hip, I'm just looking at that jumping position, driving the bar up. Now I'm gonna put these together. I'm gonna go first pull, second pull, trying to find that hip position. Then back to the hip, and I like hip hang, power snatches. This is warm up, so forgive me if my technique isn't spot on there. Then what I like to do is once I get here, I like to go down to the back of the neck. Gives me a second to rest a little bit. You can tell I'm already out of breath. This is like we talked about. This is why I don't feel the need to run an 800 before I start lifting, because I'm hot and sweaty just doing a few reps here. So from here, I like to screw my hands in just like we would a push-up. Get everything nice and tight. Press the weight overhead. So I'm warming up that overhead position. Sometimes I'll put it overhead and lean different angles. That way, if I, just like squatting, if I happen to catch one in a weird spot, not my first time I've been there. Then I like to do behind the neck, snatch grip, jerks, so I can work on footwork and my shoulder position and arm speed, pushing myself, jumping the bar up, pushing myself back down in the squat. I like to overhead squat. And in the beginning, these usually don't feel amazing. And then just like I do with the clean, I like to do a SOTS press, but I'll do the behind the neck, out of breath. I'll do the behind the neck wide grip variation. So I'm gonna start in my squat stance, but up tall, press it up. Then I'm just gonna squat a little bit. Make sure everything's good. See if I can press there. Ultimately, I'm trying to get down to the bottom position. See if I can press, and I'll get a few reps in my lowest, best position. And usually I go 3 to 5 reps on all of it. I almost always do 5 reps of the SOTS press, and I'll go through it one time for the clean and then the snatch. Or if I'm only snatching, I might just go through it 2 times for specific for the snatch. Or if I'm only clean and jerking, I might go through it 2 times with just the clean and jerk. But it's amazing. Y'all saw first round there, but it's amazing how much better and more open your positions and how much faster and how much better your timing is when you do these things back to back. So I don't know how many exercises I just listed there, between 5 and 10, 5 reps of each of them. That's gonna be 25 to 50 reps, each of them extremely intentional, and then multiply that by 2 because we're gonna go 2 rounds of it. So just with the barbell, you're gonna get 50 to 100 reps in. If I'm doing the math right, I think I might have doubled the math there, whoops. But of highly intentional reps, and if we do that every single day, it is unbelievable how this transfers into Olympic weightlifting. So think of what we typically see in the gym. People come in, they do some generic warming up, they hop on a bike, go for a run, they jump rope, they get hot and sweaty, they pick the barbell up and they do some lifts, just enough to start feeling like they're loose. Then they start adding weight on the bar, they do some reps, and then they're into their working sets, and they do 8 sets of 3, or 8 sets of 2. So that's 16 to 24 reps, and they do a few reps here. So what we're gonna do is like 50 to 100 reps before we do our 25 heavy working sets with high intent. Very, very different. It's really what makes some people in the gym skyrocket, and some people in the gym get better and then kind of just stall out. Intent, intent, intent. Hope that helps.